Hey YouTube, what up? Welcome back to another video. In this video, I want to talk for a brief moment about Omarosa. Omarosa? Omarosa? Who cares? But yeah, I know I'm a little late with this video. Well, a lot of late. But I just wanted to speak on this for a quick moment though. Alright, as you guys probably know, Omarosa done got fired. Alright. Apparently she was fired from whatever position she was at in the White House. I don't really know if that was even a legitimate position, whatever. But yeah, Omarosa got fired, and she may have been dragged out by security. I'm not sure, but anywho, she's on the media circuit now, or she was at least, trying to tell her story, right? And notice when she was telling her story, she was like, I saw things and heard things that made me extremely uncomfortable. And I'm like, wait a minute, we've been told, like no shit you saw, duh, come on. Like, this is what black folks was telling your ass way back when you was campaigning on Coon, being on that super Coon shit for Donald Trump, right? Mhm. And I think she was just talking. I mean, she probably did hear some things that maybe did upset her. Well, she did hear some things that may upset other black people, but since she, you know, feels that she is like the token, it probably didn't upset her until they showed her that no, you're a part of those black people too. You're a part of those black people over there too. All right. Yeah. And also in the interview she did, she was like trying to make it seem like she was so down and, you know, just going so hard in the paint for black people. She trying to like sneak back over to the black side, right? After she done, cooned her way over to the white side of things, right? The racist white supremacist side of things, right? Notice they always want to come back. They try to come back once they get they wake up call, right? They Negro wake up call. They want to come back to us. But no, we're good, Omarosa. We don't want you. Go back over to the Trump side. And the thing is, even if we do kind of like say, come on back, she's just gonna turn around and do the same thing over again when the next best offer comes along. So we can't. We gotta cut it. We gotta make sure we don't get played again. Right? We can't get played. And I don't think when it comes to Omarosa, I don't think we really got played. Really, um, I know some people did like Omarosa back when the very first Apprentice aired. Some people did. Um, I didn't really watch that season, but I know my mother and my sister watched this season, and my mother did like Omarosa at first. My sister didn't though. She saw through Omarosa, you know, and she did see like Omarosa using like the black, kind of like using blackness to sort of get ahead, But that's it. That's all it is. Like, oh, she's coming off so like pro black, but when it comes down to it, no, she's pro Omarosa, not pro black. Yeah. Also, some commentators here and there, particularly some black commentators, were kind of taking pleasure in this, and perhaps to an extent I can understand them, depending on if they've had a personal encounter with Omarosa, taking pleasure in it to an extent, at least publicly. Privately, okay, do what you want, but publicly, I think that's where the whole like we gotta stay on code thing comes into play. Even though Omarosa is a coon, however, Omarosa is sort of like at this moment, especially a proxy for black women in general, and also just black people, but also black women. So oftentimes when they're attacking her, low key, they're kind of like going after all black women. Unfortunately, they're doing it in a very sly way. And I know some people are going to be like, no, Omarosa represents Omarosa. That is true. She does. She does represent herself. But you know how it is when it comes to black people in the media. It's like one of us represents all of us. you know? And some of the questions even like, how much was she getting paid? Like when does that ever come up based on like the previous firings? When does that ever come up? You know? Or like, what was her position anyway? Even though, yeah, I kind of agree with that too, but a lot of those people got imaginary, pretend, make believe, you know, positions, you know. And, I'll give a kudos to April Ryan for staying on code. At least she didn't like throw Omarosa under the bus in public. And I know, like, she personally, I believe she does have a reason to feel some type of a way and, perhaps take some joy in this because I think her and Omarosa have had like an exchange of words, and I heard that Omarosa was kind of disrespectful with her. But I commend her for just, staying on code and not really going into that, in the public on record. Now, in private, perhaps it's a different story, and I don't fault her for having her feelings privately. But I think this is sort of like a lesson for us, whereas perhaps like just let white supremacy do its own dirty work. Don't help white supremacy do its dirty work, right? Because ultimately, we don't get anything out of that. It's not like white supremacy is giving us anything for it. So let them do their own dirty work, Like y'all the one who, hired her and gave her this position to begin with. Y'all do the sweeping up and cleaning up. We ain't doing it. Yeah. And also one more thing before I go, I just want to touch on something that's really important. Really, really important to take note of. All right. This is just a lesson. It's a cautionary tale. And ultimately, it's just the lesson is all coons have an expiration date. It may not be today. It may not be tomorrow. It may even be some years down the line from now. It may not even be 10 years. It may be 5 or 10 years. But trust me, all coons have an expiration date. And the thing is, the expiration date, it just pops up. Usually there's no warning. So one day you're in, the next day you're out. Right? And sometimes it can even be for just something so petty too, sometimes. And like I said, look what they did to Tommy Loren. Look what happened to her. And she white. Look how they did her. She went off script one time. One time. But I like to think of that situation as like bad things happening to bad people. So I don't really feel bad for no Tommy Loren. And plus, y'all notice she was like trolling black folks yet again. She loved trolling black people. Yeah. I think she low-key got a thing for black men. Maybe even black women. I saw them pics on Twitter. I saw them pics. Tommy. But that's another story. But basically, the lesson to get from this is don't coon, or this is going to happen to you. This is what's going to happen to you if you coon. Because Omarosa, I bet you she thought she was in there like swimwear. She was like, I bet on the right horse. I got my golden ticket. I'm in. I'm good. What's up? Let's go. And also, another thing to point out, like she wound up having her wedding or like wedding party, or doing like a photo shoot for her wedding at the White House, and some people didn't like that. And also, I heard that she had full reign or like full access to Donald Trump's private quarters. Hmm. Hmm. And also, I know like that access is restricted. I think she was probably like one of like the very few people there to have access to like pretty much probably the whole entire White House, more than even some white people. A lot of white people there, and I know they probably feeling some type of way about that. Like, how is this, you know, nigrous, having so much access more than us, right? Yeah. And one more thing. She said that she's going to write a book. I really think she should have kept that to herself and just released the book and just let the book come out of left field and just become the news story of the week or whatever, just exposing everybody. I mean, again, we ain't really getting any money from it, but just from a common sense point of view, you always you got to keep, this as the saying goes, you keep your cards close to your chest, right? And that's what Omarosa needs to learn. She talked a little bit too much, right? A little bit too much. But she a coon, so what do you expect from a coon, right? But thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to comment and leave your feedback. Thanks a lot. Adios and goodbye for now.